This is Project R1. It's a, s- the project is simple Photosite in Ruby on Rails using database. What this project is to create a simple photo sharing website where six number of users can share their photos, comments, date and time. So all that user information, comment information, and all that information of the particular user can be viewed in the HTML file, can be viewed when the local server launch. And this project implements two URL, that is user one URL and the photo URL, where the second URL, that is photo URL ID, gives the particular user information when it's launched, and the first URL gives the table of all the users and their information. The status of this project is I have met all the requirement and expected functionalities of this project have been implemented and working good. So yeah, let's see our project now. Have created a project Photosite in RubyMine IDE. So how this works is based on the MVC model, that is model view controller. First, when the local server is launched, requests will be sent to controller, and the controller finds the appropriate views of that, and that views will be interacted with models. In turn, model interact with database, and then find database sends the response to controller with appropriate parameters, and then controller with appropriate parameter match to the view in view will be called to local server launch. That is how MVC actually works. So the underlying first we have to create as models. So based on this application requirement, I have created three models, that is user, comment, and photo. If I create a user model, automatically migrate file of user will be created, that is auto populated. So the user migrate file, this is where we have to have a code to create a table. So user table contains first name and the last name, and the user ID will be automatically injected by the DB. So no need to create user ID separately. And the photo table, in the photo table, I'm creating a photo table with the parameters user ID, date, time, and the file name. And I'm adding a foreign key constraint. That is with the user ID, to match with a particular photos. I'm adding the foreign key constraint, and the comment table has the parameters user ID, photo ID, date, time, and comment text. So giving all the data types of this is important. So after creating table, right, in the files, in the migrate file, we have to build a relationship in the models. That is how model interacts with database based on the relationship. So user model has this indicates that one user can have many photos, one user can have many comments. Suppose one user can have three comments, one user can have two or three photos. So yeah, we are building a relationship with user photos and user comments. So in the photo model, we can have each photo belongs to particular user, and each photo can have many comments. And the comment, it tells that one comment belongs to photo and one comment belongs to user. It's like basically building a relationship of all three models. So when models and migrate files are done, when models and migrate files are done, we have to run a rake db migrate. It's here, yeah, it's run rake task, run rake db, I have loaded each table to the database, first user, photo, and comments, and then load data. Have initialized, so when this is run, automatically table will be created. And this load data, here is where we have written the preloaded data set is present here. These are the instruction where we are filling the database table, that is like user table, photo table, comment table, with all the information present here. So yeah, when we run a rate task migrate, and all these comments will be present here. So to view how the database table is, go to view tools and database. So this window will populate. So let's see user table. User table has user ID, first name, last name, and the created at and the photo updated at. And the photos table has the same ID, user ID, photo ID, and the date, time, and the file name of the photos. And the comment section here also has user ID, photo ID, and automatically this column will be injected by the database. So yeah, about the particular comments, date, time, this is like for user ID 1 we have these many comments, so all that is can be seen here. So after loading the load data and all this migration file to database, if we run rate task and seeing all the comments, the next step is to create controllers. Next step is to create controllers where actually user, controller, and view will be interacted when the local server launch. So this user controller is like fetching all the users information. This line is to fetch all the user information. So here I have created a two methods, that is index and display. This photo controller has like for the user, it joins the users with a number of photos and finds the user ID and then joins with the comments. So basically for each user ID, it joins with the photos and comments. And display method, actually it is used to it is used for the photo. It is used in this, where what I'm doing here is finding the user ID and then fetching the photos and comments and displaying it. So after controller, it's important to create a views. First is views. So this is where we have to write how our web page should be viewed or how our web page should be created. It's like how our web page should be viewed when local server launch. So I'm creating I have created a table with this code. I'm creating a table with a border line and with the parameters, with the headers, user ID, first name, last name. I'm running a loop here. It indicates that each user in the user set, for each user, I'm doing all these. Yeah, for each user, I'm fetching the ID, I'm fetching the last name, and I'm fetching the first name, and I'm linking to the photo bar index. I'm linking to the photo bar index. Suppose, yeah, I'm linking to the photo bar index. Where if I click on that, that is basically hyperlinking actually works here. And the photo HTML file, for each photos I'm fetching the file name date and time, comment text, and in the comment, whoever commented on the post, I'm fetching their ID and then linking to their photo, linking to their particular user information. So display is for I'm fetching the file name. For each photo, I'm fetching the file name and the comments. So after all this, it's important to give the relationship in the routes file. So this is where the more controller plus class method will be called, where if we type the URL user bar index, it calls user and index. Yeah, let's run our project. I've gone through all that. Controller view, models, routes, and all these are pre-loaded images. Yeah, let's run our project. Oh, I've rerun it before, so it's giving me stop and rerun. Yeah, let's see the localhost. Make sure your Reels is working fine. And the first URL is user bar index, where it gives all the information about the users, that is user ID, their first name and the last name. Suppose if I click to Justin, it goes to Justin information, where Justin photos and comments with the respected photos and the create date and time will can be viewed. So Justin here himself commented on this post. Suppose if I create Justin, it redirects to this page. And if I click Paris, Paris has two photos. And here it's blank, this photo doesn't have any comments. And for this photo, John commented. So suppose if I click John, his information can be viewed. John has one photo and all these comments, and Johnny himself commented on all the photos. Let's see, Barack Obama, and he has many photos. And for Barack's one of photos, Paris has commented. So yeah, if I click Paris, information can be viewed. And the second URL is photo bar index. This one is ID. This one is a user ID. Suppose if I give one, it fetches this. Suppose if I give one that is a user ID, it fetches all the information of the user ID one, that is just tens, and all the information can be viewed on that page. Index, suppose if I give 5 and Santa's information should be viewed. So yeah, Santa's information is viewed. So the last is takes the user ID. Suppose if I give 6, John's, yeah, John's information is present. So yeah, all the two required functionality of this project is these two URL and these two URL pretty much working fine at my system. And what are the challenges that I have faced is while coding HTML, while creating the table, and mainly the hyperlinking part, as like how to which modeler to which controller to which class we have to hyperlink, and how actually that syntax work, and all that hyperlinking part I have learned. um, and the challenges are while initializing or while loading the migrate files to database. Suppose if I have changed few things, like I have come across few errors when I change few things on the migrate files, and again when I run the db migrate, it's actually giving me the same errors. So yeah, we have to roll it back and reset it, drop those tables and again create them, again initialize the migration. So that is actually the challenging, and I've seen it practically while doing my project. And other than that, what I have learned is how the model controller view structure works, how they interact, and one-to-one relationship, how they interact with each others, and all that I've particularly learned by this project. And I can with pretty much help others with this, like migration files and setting up the data, loading the data, or the HTML coding part and relationship and create table. And all that I can help because I've learned practically doing all that at my system at my end. So this is all about the project R1. Thank you.